Hey everybody, Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to give you guys an update on my experience with the Sony SmartWatch. Now, if you missed my unboxing, let me catch you guys up because this is the digitally digested segment, so I'm going to give you guys a full review of this product. So for $150, Sony is selling you a Bluetooth companion device for your respective Android smartphone or tablet, and I like what I've experienced so far. There are a couple of problems with this device which I'll get to through the course of the review, but let's start with the price point. So for $150, Sony has accomplished one really good thing, which is they're the lowest priced smartwatch device. Now in the past they did have a previous generation of this, Sony Ericsson, really wasn't successful. I do think that this is going to have a wider adoption level, and I'll get to that in a moment, but it's really about third-party application support. So for $150 you're getting this 1.3-inch OLED, which really just acts as a screen, a mirror device for whatever you've paired it with, whether it's a, again, Android smartphone or tablet. Won't work with any other OS, so keep that in mind. You've got a 1.3-inch multi-touch OLED. Not going to perform well in direct sunlight, but everywhere else I do like the look, color saturation. Nice to see an OLED. It's a cute screen, and you'll see it in a moment. It does come with a rubber wrist strap, which is nice of Sony to include. They certainly didn't need to. Motorola chose not to, even though their product is substantially more expensive, almost twice the price of this. Again, this is $150, whereas Moto's least expensive smartwatch, the Moto Active 8 gig, is $250. This really shouldn't be referred to as just a watch because, after all, I think a lot of you out there are just going to use it as a clip-on remote control rather than actually sport it as a full-blown wristwatch. As you can see, only one button, so very minimal, subdued look. I like that, and it's going to, allow a lot of you out there to feel free to use it rather than to feel like it's going to be an eyesore. So I think that's certainly a good thing. Sony's taken that into consideration by also including a universal wrist strap plate so that any 20 millimeter wristband can be used with this device. So customization, like all Android devices, has been taken into account. So I like the overall build quality, even though it's all plastic. It's light, it's functional. Let me get to one of my two big gripes with this device, because we are going over the actual physical layout and hardware before I show you guys the applications. Right here is your proprietary charging port. Now, in terms of battery life, this device averages, with heavy use, about 1 to 2 days of battery. If you're light, you could probably pull a week off, depending on how much you use the Bluetooth companion that we're looking at here. The problem is that, as you can see, the proprietary charger, first of all, does not come with an AC adapter, so you've got to hook this up via USB. So not only is it an extra plug to carry, but also it doesn't really charge properly, and that's why I'm showing you this. So essentially that proprietary charger has to sit on those contact points, and then the clip is supposed to hold it in place. The problem is the play from the clip allows the connection to not stay firm, and as a result you come back to a device that hasn't been charged. So not sure if this is a engineering design flaw or if I just have a lemon, but I found myself constantly having to weight down the device in order to make sure that this clip stays tight and will charge. Haven't seen any feedback about this problem, so I'm gonna assume it's just a problem with my device, but either way, you guys have been warned, at least by me and my experience so far. The other problem is pairing. I found that, unfortunately, this will not stay paired with my Razr, even though it works, and when it is paired, it works great. I found that at least 2 to 3 times a week, it loses connection, and I have to completely repair the device. I have to delete the known smartwatch on the list of Bluetooth devices and do a complete fresh repairing. So not sure why that's happening. It could have something to do with my leaked ICS build. May work better with gingerbread. I'm not really sure. I know that when Sony designed this, they still did not have ICS on any of their phones. I'm not making excuses, trying to be logical in terms of why I'm hitting that wall. But those are the two critical flaws. I've talked about battery life. Let's get into the actual function. So you've got an analog clock here. Obviously, you can change that to digital, date and time, whatever you please. If you hit the power button, it'll bring up one of the two home screens, whichever you left last. As you can see, battery life for the actual device, your time, and then a scroll meter, to indicate where you are in the UI. So here we've got some widgets like Find Photo, Missed Calls, the music player, weather, and I can scroll through those. Phone book, Endomondo, really critical app. It is free. It allows you to basically use this device the same way the Moto Active sports watch would be used for workouts and things of that nature. So that's really nice to have, especially since, again, this is almost half the price of the Moto Active, but no onboard memory here. This really is just a mirror of whatever it's been paired to. I have no better way of describing it than that. And that's why it's only as good as its applications, which right now are slim, but I could see development really coming along for a product like this. So other applications, you've got calendar, slideshows, a status visual so that you can actually see, your Bluetooth, your connectivity, power, all of that stuff from the device that it's been paired to. You've also got GPS maps, GPS logging, RSS feeds, of course, another slideshow app, access to email, Gmail, Gtalk notifications, some games are out there. So really just about anything you could think of has been thought of at this point. And that's what makes this unique. And as things are developed even further, obviously it's the options for a device like this and the customization, it's pretty much limitless in terms of where you could go with this. Facebook, Twitter, all there, but keep in mind everything is pretty much one directional, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Even though you have access to messaging and also call handling, it is very limited. After all, Sony doesn't want you using this and getting into a car accident. I don't blame them. So the idea is really to view and consume information rather than interact with it. So while you can pull up something as simple as the weather, forecast, which I'll show you right now. There it is. And if you tap it, it should give me detailed forecast information. Even though you can do something as simple as that, the point is that the other core functionalities, everything is dependent on that other device. It doesn't seem to be coming up, but everything is dependent on that device. You're not going to actually get, like if you're not paired with your tablet or phone, you'll no longer even have a clock on this. So keep that in mind. It is literally a mirror. The tile format here, obviously more ideal for the music player so that you have that album art and larger button format. And this obviously better layout to get quick access to the application of choice. But back to what I was mentioning, the limited interactivity. If a call comes in, you can reject it, accept it. I do like the simple ease of use of knowing I'm never going to miss a call using this because it does vibrate, whether it's on your wrist or clipped onto something. If your phone or your tablet is away in your pocket or in your bag, you're going to know what that information is coming in. If it's a call, you can choose to accept it, but you will need to use a handset or a Bluetooth headset because this does not have a microphone or a speaker of any sort. Maybe that'll be on the next generation, don't know, not going to speculate, but that certainly would have been nice. Also, when you get a text message, there is an action button. Unfortunately, the action button is limited in what you can do. It pretty much will give you a pre-configured response like call me back, call me, or let you view things on the phone. So very limited in terms of your interactivity, in terms of what you can do with the information you're receiving. But again, the idea is that you are getting access to pretty much anything that your phone has or your tablet has on board, as long as there's an app to support doing that activity. That's my best way of describing it, folks. So overall, I really do like what Sony's put together here. Battery life is adequate, price point is good, and I find the design to be, again, the most conservative and least offensive, which is a compliment, believe it or not, among all of the competing products that are out there. There's even a cool camera app that allows you to use this 1.3-inch OLED as the preview screen for the camera on your paired device, which again is a smartphone or a tablet running the Android operating system. So overall, I really do like what Sony has done here. I think it's a great device at its price. I think those of you out there looking for a remote control for your Android-driven smartphone or tablet, somebody who's wants to be able to really use the music player even. I think for that function alone, a lot of you out there will be willing to pick one of these up, not necessarily wearing it on your wrist, but however you choose, obviously, clipping it on to whatever. And basically, I think that the amount of information and the amount of flexibility that this device represents and the concept actually working really is enough to justify its price point. And I think a marketplace where in the past, because Sony did try this with the LiveView Sony Ericsson device in the past, it didn't work out. I think this clearly has a pretty good chance to survive. Let me go ahead and show you guys the phone and the software that you'll be dealing with. Sony has essentially designed an app, SmartWatch application, And that smartwatch application is going to give you, as you can see, if I get it in focus, the ability to adjust your clocks, widgets, usage tips they'll give you, sort applications, and just an overview of the applications. All good things right at your fingertips, really easily accessible. But again, the pairing is a critical flaw. I don't know why it continuously breaks up, as I mentioned before, or loses its connection, I should say, and has to be completely freshly repaired. But another great app, as I mentioned before, that Endomondo app, free application, something that really, only comes with the higher price of getting the Moto Active. So this in itself may justify it for those of you out there looking to record your workouts and log them with GPS, also heart rate monitors. It gives you access to all of those things. But to, incoming calls, text messages, email, Facebook, Twitter, you're really only going to be using this in the same way you would the RSS feed application. You're just really going to be consuming information. You're not going to be really interacting. After all, not the best interaction screen here, only 1.3 inches, but it certainly does the job for what is expected, in my opinion. So really like the Sony SmartWatch, but the charging connection issue I told you guys about and the pairing problem at least hold me back right now from giving you guys a wholehearted recommendation. But conceptually, and when it is connected, a functionality standpoint, the smartwatch more than delivers, and in my opinion, sky's the limit for a product like this as people continue to develop for it. So really like the smartwatch, but based on those two flaws, again, not sure if I just have a lemon or not, but I can't tell you guys that it's actually going to work with your product seamlessly, since it's not working with mine as it really should. But again, that could just be because of the leaked ICS build that I'm running on my Motorola Razr. But I think I've pretty much covered everything. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And also, I'll have an associate link. If you guys have interest in purchasing this, please go ahead and click through there and help support the Digital Digest. But again, any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. And of course, as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.